We're gonna have some fun today. Hi everyone, it's Andy from Hobby Headquarters. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I did a video on Creality's Hallet 1 4K resin 3D printer, and we had a really good response for it. We had some free giveaway for some STL files for some 16 scale products, and it was such a good response. Creality reached out and said, hey, you used to do some PLA type printing, like the T-Rex, and would you be interested in showing off how far the PLA printers have come since the last group? That was like 3 or 4 years ago that I was started up with the PLA printers. I said, absolutely. So they were kind enough to send us out the new Sermoon V1 Pro. And the benefit of this is an all-in-one, super easy to use. It's basically ready to go right out of the box. It is completely enclosed. It's got fans inside. It's got a camera inside that you can watch if you hook it up to your Wi-Fi. You can watch it with your phone, how the actual print is going, a heated bed, and like I said, it's all a self-contained item right here. It does use the PLA plastic, so it's not going to have the fine detail that the resin 3D printer, but obviously for certain applications, this is going to come in really handy, and it doesn't have all the mess of the resin or having to cure it. And some of the stuff is a little bit more durable, like the T-Rex that I printed a few years ago. It's obviously really nice to have it in this, so it holds up really well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to just basically open this up. I've kind of just hooked it up. It just took a couple minutes to take it all up out of the box, and it's basically ready to print right now. So I'm just going to show you how the print works on this. Plus, it wouldn't fit on the table here, but I just went ahead and assembled. Creality sent us out their Falcon laser engraver, and I am super excited about this. Now, I talked about this about a week ago when we first got it in, but I've got it all set up now, and I've got some wood, and this is going to be so wonderful for all of the diorama stuff that I'm doing, because not only is it an engraver, it's also a cutter too, and I will be able to cut new letters and signs and windows and door frames and all that kind of stuff for 16 scale as well as 35th scale dioramas. And we're going to take this for some of the paces right here. There's still a lot of learning I have to do with the software, but I can give you a general overview how this is going to work and what the things that we can do with this. So this is super exciting, and you're going to probably be seeing this in a lot of upcoming videos, at least even for a second, that I'm like, oh, we're going to make some new windows for this 16 scale diorama, especially because next week I will have the very first test shots on the 16 scale Sherman that I'm coming out with. So obviously I got to make a whole bunch of stuff to go around with it. So today we're just going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to show you how the Sermoon V1 Pro works, as well as the Creality Falcon here. This is going to be, I'm excited about it. I like doing all this kind of stuff and trying out new things. So let's get started. Here we are. The unit is out of the box. It is unpacked. All I have done so far is take the clear protective film off all of the clear parts and take down all the tie downs and the extra packing foam that is inside the unit. Unit is packed very well. It is super secure when you get it out of the box. There is the USB or the actual file port in here, which I don't have in here yet. We're going to take that off of the computer once we're ready to do that. And I want to show you just a couple of quick features on this that make this so much easier than the resin printers. And each one has their own benefits. This obviously is not going to do the super detail work that a resin printer will, but for doing certain applications, it's going to make it very fast and easy. First of all, there is no messing with the resin. The resin can sometimes smell. It is toxic, of course, the resin. You don't want to get it on your hands and stuff, so it requires wearing gloves, all that kind of stuff. This is just the PLA. This is just the cord comes out. It's very easy to work with. Now, one of the features on this unit is this is a pre-installed heated bed. The bed is already heated, and that is going to help with adhesion and the way the actual unit prints the item. This is the best part I found, though. This is your base plate. The base plate is magnetized, and it is completely flexible. So you can take this base plate off, once you have it on, and then we should be able to pop whatever we make right off the base plate without having to use a like a spatula, especially a steel spatula that could scratch up all of this. So we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna see how well this works and how easy this pops off. You can see this just magnetizes right back on, just like that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick an item. There is a pre-installed, I guess it's a paintbrush holder or a pin holder, but I'm gonna use it as a paintbrush holder myself. I'm going to put that onto the unit, and we're gonna turn this on and see how it does. So I went on the computer and put the software on like I told you earlier, but I wanted to show you the flash drive and how easy this is to work with. So this is a very strange flash drive. It's got the flash drive right here, but then it's got this 8 gigabyte SD card in the side that you'll be able to plug in here. Pop that in there. You slide this into your computer, you download everything you need to on here, and then when you're ready to transfer it to the actual unit, slide this out. Come down here into this little slot, push it in, you hear the little click, and it is ready to go. Once that is done, we just come over here to print file. Here's some of the stuff that's downloaded already on it in PLA, and here it is. Here's the brush pot that I want to start printing. Click that right there, the print button, and you have just done everything you need for it to start printing. Now it does take a couple of moments to get it ready, so it's not going to immediately start jumping in the action, and that is because it has to heat up the heating element that extrudes the PLA, but it also has to heat up the printer bed inside of here too. It does have a system involved too, that if you open up the door during printing, it'll pause it. Okay, my first print is just finished up here, and it is a paintbrush holder. And this is the thing that I really like about this new machine here, is that this whole base plate comes right out just like this. It's all magnetized. It's got a metal bottom to it and a magnet on the bottom there, and it's completely flexible. So in theory, let's see if this works. We should be able to just, oh yeah, that worked out really nice actually. Just pop this right off. You watch, we drop this back in and it sticks itself right back into place, and yeah, that came out very, very easily. So let's take a closer look at how this actually printed. And very, very fine print lines. I mean, they're very, very fine on there. In fact, that's actually pretty smooth, and I like the way this print actually has created this diamond pattern on here. Kind of even hides a little bit of it. One of the main benefits over the resin is the durability. This is obviously a much harder, denser product than what the resin would be. The resin has a tendency to sometimes be kind of brittle. This is a little bit stronger material, and it's going to hold up a little bit better, I think, than the resin would for certain applications. Obviously, the detail that you're going to get out of a resin printer compared to the PLA is going to be different for like doing the shells or any of the accessories. But if you're making items like this, I think this type of unit is going to work very, very well for you. And like I said, overall, very impressed with the whole layout of how this thing actually works. Now let's have some fun with the Creality Laser Falcon. I have the unit all set up. It took me probably about a little over maybe 15 minutes to get it all assembled. There was no program or anything like that. It's just assembling the framework, which Creality has a YouTube video that is very, very informative of how everything goes together. I would highly recommend watching that. The instructions that come inside the kit are very tiny, and they do walk you through everything, but it is way easier to watch a YouTube video than to try to put it together on your own just with those little tiny instructions, I think. Now, what I have right here in front of us is the Lightburn software. Inside the flash drive that comes with the Laser Falcon is Lightburn. It is a 30-day trial on it, and there is another piece of software in there, but I've heard all the good things I've heard about are Laserburn, so that's the one I want to actually play with right now. And as you can see on the screen, I've created basically just some real simple window frames. I wanted to just see how they're going to print, or not print, I should say, how they were going to burn out. And all I did was I built one and then just used the duplicate feature and made another. So obviously I can make a whole bunch of these very quickly. And of course, if I wanted to, I can go and make a whole bunch of other different shapes. This is not a tutorial, but in any way, shape, or form about the Lightburn software. This is me just opening this up, turning it on, and just with my limited knowledge of all this stuff, just seeing what I can actually do on it. And I've only played around with the software maybe for a grand total of maybe 2 hours, just trying to get things, just to figure out where everything is, how many times the depth. So there are definitely better videos on YouTube for seeing how they actually works. This is basically going to show you what we can do right out of the box with the Laser Falcon. Now, the windows obviously are really cool to do. I'm going to go over here and turn on the lettering too, because this is something that I think is going to come in very handy. So on the diorama that I'm working on now, I need another crup that I need to put on one of the other buildings. And with this software and this burner, I can cut out as many crups or any other name that I want and to put them on there. So there it is. I just typed it up, crup, and it is going to cut that general shape. I also want to put numbers on the building, so we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then once we're done with it, you can, if it gets too close to it, you can just highlight it and drag it around anywhere you want. And that's how it'll cut there. There are some areas that we need to make it, because this is only a 5-watt laser, we need to have the laser cut, I think it's about 6 or 7 times over when it goes over the plywood, but I'll show you that in a few minutes. But look at some of just the cool stuff we can burn out right away. Now, also, another option we can do, which I'm not going to do on this first run. This first run, we're just going to use the cutter for this. But there are things like this where you can put some wood grain on here, shrink it down, cut some wood grain into stuff. It won't be as deep, but it would give it a nice little wood grain effect. The other thing that this also can do, and this is going to come out really big, but here is the artwork for my Sherman. Now, obviously it's very large, so we don't want to use that. But what we can do is we can shrink it way the heck down and zoom back in here, and it will burn that image into the wood. So if I want to create a little placard for the Sherman that's coming out, we've got that ability. In fact, also, speaking of that, since we've got it up, we could do that and actually just type the word Sherman in. Or M4A4E3, you know, all different types of things that we can do with that stuff. So I'm going to get rid of this right now because, whoops, we got to do this over here. Get rid of this and this, because I mainly want to just an experiment. I've only burned just a couple of quick things, just playing around. Haven't done the lettering fully or of these. I finally got my pieces of wood in so I can do that. So I'm going to copy this file, and we're going to bring it over to the burner, and we're going to see how it works. Okay, I'm almost ready to start this this baby up. What I've done here is there is a little guide on the side here that is a depth guide that you need to just loosen these 2 screws right here and lay this thing down, get that little guide in place, tighten them up, and then just slide it over to the side. Then we can go ahead and turn the unit on, and it'll fire itself up here. It'll always go to the bottom corner. And what that's doing, that's setting itself up to know exactly where it is on its trajectory here. So it touches off, and then you'll start to see it is starting to do just a square pattern. And what I've found out now is that square pattern is the area that the item is going to get cut in. So it gives you the opportunity to go in there and adjust your wood or whatever you're cutting with to get it, make sure that it's underneath the actual the laser here. So the laser's not on yet, and it's not cutting, but it's letting you know, hey, this is where we're going to cut at. I've got some safety goggles that come with it, and then now we can just go ahead and put those on and turn it on. Here is technically my first full cut. And when I showed you the video a few seconds ago of it starting to cut the window frame, what I hadn't realized is I had set the window frame up as a picture. So it was trying to like etch the shape of the picture in rather than actually cut, which I pulled the windows out because I'll have to redo those and start from scratch on it on the software now I'm talking about. So I just said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and make that 1/16 scale M4 Sherman placard, and it just finished up right now. You can see it cut right on through all of this. And my idea was to do the placard that, you know, you can do it both ways, where you can pop the letters out, which you can see they come right out here, or you know, they use them individually on it as well. So all different types of things you can do. Here is the crup that I was telling you about. And you can see it just wants to pop right out there, as well as the numbers. So I can now put numbers on all the buildings or put crup on top of the other thing. So you can see there's all different types of stuff that we can do with this. Well, there you go, guys. There is a look at two really incredible tools from Creality for the average home modeler. And all I can say is what a great time to be a modeler. I think back from years ago when I was doing this, and not as a child, but as an adult doing this, I never would have dreamed that we'd have tools like this that I can 3D print something, or have a laser burner on my desk in my build area that I can cut my own lettering out. It's just an incredible time to do this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to have a blast now going forward, especially cutting out all that stuff that I want to add. I cut out more letters and more numbers, and I'm going to be putting that all over the dioramas that I do going forward. Also, I didn't point out too, there are every font that you would normally have on, you know, a regular typing program, you also have in that too. So we can change all the fonts. We can do all kinds of other really cool things with it. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you as always for watching, and please stay tuned because I have many more videos coming.